Hey, Walk Through the Word. Kevin Siddle here, and I am with Josh Gillam. Josh is a close friend of mine, and Josh is also one of our worship leaders here at Christ Church at Fairview Heights campus here in Illinois. And Josh is going to be a first-time writer for us with Walk Through the Word this year. And so we're kind of getting into this, why? Why do we look at the Bible? Why do we study the Word? What can we each bring to the table? And so, as you know, we've got a number of different writers for Walk Through the Word, each with a different perspective when they get into it. And so, Josh.
Hi.
When you read the Bible, when you study the Bible, what is it that you're looking for when, like, for instance, you're bringing these things to the greater Walk Through the Word community?
It's a great question. I shared with you early on that I was very worried about doing this.
Yes, you did.
For multiple reasons. One of the main ones being that I have an insecurity at times, one that tells me that I don't have much to say in regards to scriptural commentary and things of the like. But as we were going through Isaiah, a lot of the passages had to do with God's passion for his people and the passion that he has when they don't necessarily follow what he has laid in front of them.
Sure. Yep.
And so when I kind of latched onto that theme, going through some of the Isaiah passages, it was easier for me to latch on to.
Sure.
That's probably the best coherent answer I'm going to give you.
No, that's pretty good. I think, one of the cool things about Walk Through the Word, guys, is that each writer brings something a little bit different. Some people bring more of a historical perspective. Some look at the apologetics. Others look at very devotional style material of how it can help us. And then, kind of your writing it's much more relational with God. And so I think that's one of the bigger blessings. And so as a worship leader, how does that combine with biblical study for you? Like, I know we've talked personally about this, worship is not just what we do when we come to church and sing songs and all that. So how is Bible study an act of worship in this way?
This might not be a direct answer to that question, but in reading through Isaiah specifically and all the scriptures, I think the easiest way that can lead to worship, whether that be through song or in thought or whatever, is seeing how the Lord responds and treated his people back in biblical times.
Sure.
Primarily the loving times and the correctional times. The patience, the immense patience that the Lord has with his people, I think is a great entry point to worship and to awe and reverence and things like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I hadn't even looked at it like that, as looking at the scripture as a way to kind of give us a guide for what it means to worship. That's really, really cool.
Thank you.
That's cool. I like that.
I'm glad.
And so, yeah, when I think about worship and Bible study, I think of it, I guess, more intellectual. When I get in there and I see what God does and I see who he is and I build that relationship. But to be able to have it as a launching point, that's very unique. And so, what are some things that, you got open forum with a couple thousand people? What would be some things that you would want to share as far as either how to build that relationship with God through Scripture or how to build it with worship? Like, what would be some tips that you would have?
I shared 7 easy tips to further your prayer life, something like that. It was an article by Ronald Rolheiser this past Monday at our staff communion, which you weren't at.
I was not.
It's okay. And the first tip that he had, and he expounded on it, was to just show up. To show up to prayer. And so I think one of the biggest suggestions / encouragement is either we show up to read, to learn, to pray, to spend time with the Lord, or we do not. And that's not just secluded to one, morning quiet time or whatever. The ideal morning time is supposed to launch us into the rest of the day, taking him with us. So show up, I think, is
I like
good
that
point.
Yeah, you're not going to get very far if you don't actually try.
Sure.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, thank you, Josh. Thank you for jumping into the Walk Through the Word community with us this year. Thank you guys for being a part of this incredible community that we have in Walk Through the Word with thousands of people all over the entire world. If you have any questions, if you'd like to see us answer any specific questions, go ahead, put them in the comments, and we will see you later.